welcome to the Predictive Playbook, and welcome back to those that have been watching our shows for about the last 4 months. We appreciate your loyalty extremely much. This is going to be a show with Don Buster of Buster Sports, and if you're a friend of his, you call him Buster. And before I bring him on, I want to make sure you get this special ad that Sportsmemo did just for him. This guy is a master in the Canadian Football League. He actually lives in Canada. He knows the sport inside and out, and his record speaks volumes to that fact. So if you look at this little screenshot I have here, he is number one both at sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com in CFL best bets for the entire seasons. There's nobody better on either site, is what I'm trying to tell you. And right now, you can save $400 off the $699 cost for the CFL season that starts August 5th. Not that far away, guys. Save $400 right now and pay just $299 to get the absolute best CFL handicapper and professional sports bettor on WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. It's a deal that you just cannot refuse to get on. Don, welcome to the show. I'm glad that you're back in Canada here now, and I guess everything's going pretty well for you.
Yeah. Well, John, thanks a lot for that promotion there. That's very, very good of you to talk me up like that. But it is, I have been, and probably more so because growing up in Canada, I actually played like the college, like the high school, not college, but high. Like, so I know that game. The CFL game's a total different game from the NFL. And I also, because I am a little long in the tooth, I do have a bunch of connections, friends, people that know people, and not that that matters a lot, but any little information you can get. And it seems to have really helped me, especially, I would say the last 15 years, I've been really, really strong with my CFL plays. I don't play as much as I probably do in NFL or college football. Like it's very sparingly. They only play 4 games a week usually. This year they're only going to be playing 14 games in the regular season. So I'm very picky on the games, and looking forward to that. And thanks again for always having me on the show on Thursdays. I know I've missed a few Thursdays, but we've been traveling, and I just want to correct.
Understandable.
I do live in Canada now, but I do live most of my time in Mexico. So just a correction. I know a lot of people out there know that, but that are watching probably. But
sure.
just to say that. But I am Canadian, and I do know the CFL, and that's why I think I do well in the NHL as well, being a big Canadian sports.
Absolutely. And another sport you do well in is the PGA Tour. And
had a good year.
Yeah, it's been profitable, to say the least, and especially with having guests on like Nick Borman, and then David Behrman of ESPN, and yourself. I can't. I could try to lose and I'd still win, and that's exactly how I feel about it. I actually bet Cameron Tringale, and I'm whamming myself right now, Buster. I shouldn't even have said it. But I guess
is he doing well? So I haven't took a look at the leaderboard yet today.
Oh, he's 6 under through 12, and he's the leader.
Oh, nice.
Cabrera Bello is -5. He's through 12. Jeez. Scott Stallings -5. Ricky Fowler -5 through 10.
Wow,
that's the same pace as what Chingali's on. So it looks like we expected the conditions to be very favorable. Mm-hmm. There's that one hole, I believe it's on the back. Tom Lehman actually built this course, and he's a Hall of Fame member of the PGA Tour. And occasionally, I think he still plays senior tour action, but very sparingly. But he built this course. He was the architect. And there's a hole that's 384 yards, par 4, but it has a lake, and it doglegs kind of around the lake. But if you can carry 330, you can put it on the green. And that's the hole I'm waiting to see when I have a chance to watch today and then the next 3 days after that. How many guys are actually going to take a rip at that green and carry the lake? It's a very high risk reward, but then the drop area would be just maybe 75 yards in front of the tee box because the lake is right there.
Yeah, so it's good. Even if you went in, you could still from there. Those guys are so good, you still get up and down for your par. So it'll be interesting, like you say, come Sunday when guys are trailing, need a couple strokes, whatever. And the way those guys hit the ball, 330. I mean, that's all. I mean, 20 years ago, guys are hitting 330. You'd be what? It's amazing how far these guys hit the ball now. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost it's almost like if you average 295, you're a short hitter.
Yeah,
like what?
That's crazy. Yeah,
it is crazy. Some other names here. Charles Howell III is 3 under. He's a cut machine. He just makes cuts and just a ton of them.
Right.
Luke List is 3 under through 11. The guy that I've been watching, Buster, quite a bit in recent weeks, Maverick McNeely, continues to climb up my metrics, and he's 2 under through 11, so he's off to a decent start.
Nice.
And that's T11 right now.
Right.
Louis Oosthuizen, who if you had a feel for him again, or you just don't have a heart. You just don't have a heart.
Yeah, I would have really liked to see him win that, but it's funny that last round. I don't know. It's not like he's that old. He's only 38. It's not So I mean, he's been playing in those majors. How good can you keep play? Yeah, tied for second. A lot other two. I don't know. I think he ended up tied third after the Open there. But talking about that Morikawa, he's a real deal. He's going to be winning a lot of majors. That's for sure. What is he? 24, and he's already got 2. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to watch those guys. I don't mean to take you off the TPC Twin Cities here, but it would be interesting to see these guys in the Olympics. I'd like to see what's Morikawa, and it looks like the U.S. has 4 guys, like Thomas, DeChambeau, and Xander's playing. So it'd be interesting to see those guys. I know it's a no cut tournament. Like all 60 guys, there's not a cut line or nothing. So 60 men play a tournament, 60 women play a tournament, and I guess there's no cut. So, but what I found interesting, I was just studying ahead of time because now that I've got my plays in for the Twin Cities, I noticed that what's interesting to me, I don't know, you could obviously will put your 2 cents in on this, is that if there's ties, so if there's 2 or 3 guys tied at the end of the 72 holes, they're going to play a 3-hole playoff. It's not going to be sudden. It's not going to be sudden death. So it'll be interesting. I have a feeling that will probably happen. There's enough good players there that you might see that happen. I don't think anybody's going to run away with this, but hey, I've been known to be wrong before.
Tell me if I'm wrong with it. I think Justin Rose won in 2016.
That's correct, yeah.
And it was a 3-hole playoff, but I just can't remember who the guys were that were involved.
You know what? Now that you say that, I believe you're right. They did have a playoff that year, yeah. So, again, interesting. For me in this the Twin Cities, I've been I like that Patton Kazir. I have him, but I really my big play was on Matthew Wolff. I'm hoping he won in this is only the 3rd year for this course. He won in 2019. And I know he played well at the U.S. Open. He tied for 15th U.S. Open. I think he did play that Rocket Mortgage and maybe tied for 40th or 50th. I know he made the cut but didn't do too well on the weekend. So I know he's been dealing with a few health issues, like mental health issues, but it looks like he's really come through with that, and I'm rooting for a guy like him. That's I think him knowing the course and the way he likes, like he's already won here. Obviously, I think he was T12 the other year. I could be wrong. Maybe I think it's somebody else, but so I'm that'll be the guy I'll be cheering for this week. Yeah,
I agree. It's so polarizing with DeChambeau too, with how he acted this past Friday afternoon with the driver issue, and I actually was glad that the manufacturer lashed back at him and basically said, like, kind of, I would interpret it as like, just grow up.
Yeah,
like be accountable.
It's shocking because here it is with that company. It makes them look really bad, and I mean, you don't want your sponsors or your people that I know these guys are making all kinds of money, and he could go. There'd be guys knocking on his door to give him drivers, but come on, You can't act like that. And he seems to be an issue, obviously, with that whole Koepka thing. I'm not sure whose fault that was. I don't know nothing about it to even to suggest who's at fault. But when somebody, in any kind of sport, when the same name keeps popping up, the same with trouble or some kind of bullshit going on, you got to believe it's the guy's name that's popping up. That's the problem, right? You have to believe.
I would agree. It's unfortunate. The guy has
It is unfortunate. The guy's unbelievable. Yeah.
He's swinging the club in a manner where nobody has ever even attempted it. To have the same length clubs.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, he'd go 4 for 4 driving at that hole at TPC Twin Cities this week. That's for sure.
It would be a question if he hit 3-wood. I think his driver actually might be too much.
Might be too much. Yeah. Wow.
He hits it so high, and it would land. It probably would land pretty soft. So, unfortunately, we won't see that. But there's plenty of other guys that are in this event, like Dustin Johnson. I would think would take a rip at it.
What I did, John, just my own, when I was going through this week I actually didn't play or kind of threw out, and I know that's probably maybe not wise, but I thought it was anybody that played the whole, so Oosthuizen, Johnson, even Dylan Fratelli, all those guys that played the full time at the British Open. Now you got to fly back. Now there's jet lag. It's kind of like, some baseball systems I play and stuff, right? It's just that jet lag to me. Now you're playing on the Thursday. You just flew back. You played that whole weekend over there. I don't know. And who knows? As saying this here, Dustin Johnson might shoot 10 under, but I'm just saying I'm not going to take him anyways because he was a huge favorite. But just saying, I played against all those guys that were playing Sunday afternoon, fighting for that Open Championship.
Well, to that point, Jon Rahm was the overwhelming favorite for the Open Championship at 7.5 to 1 before he even teed off. He got off to a poor start by his standards. I think he was +2, maybe even +3. I'd have to look it up, but he was over par. And suddenly, I just wanted to see where the live betting odds were, and he was 35 to 1. I put some pizza money on it. Obviously, it didn't pan out for a win, but the top 20. Top 10 line was equally inflated from prior to teeing off, the event starting. And I think you're going to see the same thing right now with Dustin Johnson, only 1 under. He's
under. On the course already, is he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't check the tee times today, just with a lot of things, trying to study other sports with NFL coming up and college football, and of course with my CFL. So I didn't really take a look at the tee times today, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just happened to notice it, and based on what you just said, I can actually pull up DraftKings here and see if they have updated live odds here. Well, Cameron Tringale's come down quite a bit. He's 7 to 1, and he was, oh my goodness, I think he was almost 30 to 1. I'd have to check my sheet, but Dustin Johnson now is 12 to 1. So there you go. He was 7 to 1 before he teed off. Now he's 12 to 1.
Right.
Oosthuizen was 12 to 1 before he started. Now he's 18 to 1 because he's only 2 under. It makes no sense to me that these numbers would get this inflated. Sergio's playing decently, and he's 35 to 1 right now, and he's in the top 10. Wow. So there's a ball striker for you, and that's what this course demands.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. You were saying, Jon Rahm. I know we're already running long on this little PGA segment here.
All right, we love golf.
Yeah, I know. But just saying about Jon Rahm, I'm telling you, everybody watched, so I'm not saying anything that everybody doesn't know. He could not make a putt to save his soul on Sunday. He's right there every time. He might have been able to break the course record if he could have made a putt. It was crazy how many putts he's right there and just missed.
It could have been 61. It really could. You're absolutely right. He could have shot 61 and won the thing.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Just could not make a putt.
Unfortunate, but he's number one golfer in the world by any measurement you want to tell me. He's going to be number one, and he's probably going to be number one for a while.
Yeah.
Morikawa, I mean, you can't take anything away from that young man. And I do call him a young man because when he did that acceptance speech, it just felt like it was completely from the heart. It was not rehearsed. And, he's asking everybody in the stands to take a look to either side and just say thank you to that person. I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I've done this show a lot mentioning this, and I still get goosebumps thinking about that moment because I was speechless. It just was so refreshing in the world we live in now. That was refreshing beyond belief.
Yeah, I hear you, John. It was again. You're going to see that kid win a lot of majors.
Yep. He's going to become very, very popular too.
Yeah.
So let's move on to baseball here, and I know you have a betting angle / system that you have been very successful with that our viewers can also track on their own. And although there's not a game today, I still would like to hear what it is and how it works.
Yeah. Well, John, there actually is 4 games today, but when I dig deeper into that system, there are going to be no plays for me. I'll just give you an example. And it's a system I use all the time, but even more so after the All-Star game, any team that's playing their first home game have been on the road since the All-Star game, and there's 4 of them tonight: Cleveland, Seattle, Boston, and Minnesota. I always like to play against them for the most part because they're just coming home. And I've said this on your show, I say all the time. And it doesn't matter what sport. It's a situational play, and I am a situational bettor in a lot of sports, and actually probably all of the sports. There's some situations I just play. But tonight, there was a couple I wanted to play. I'd like to have played Boston. The price was a little high because I don't like Montgomery. But, I check. No. Boston's first home game since the All-Star game. Right away, I won't play that side, even though the game looks, I break into the game and think Boston could be a play. The price isn't right. No, it's a no play for me because they're going against Montgomery, and Montgomery's a lefty, and Boston has been crushing lefties, right? They hit better against lefties than they do righties, although they hit well against everybody. So that's just an example. I think in the Cleveland, I don't like Tampa Bay's pitching matchup. I actually kind of like that Quantrill to start getting better as the year goes on. And I'll just one more. I'm just trying to think off the because I checked it all this morning, or late last night, early this morning. Minnesota, they're home, first time after the All-Star break, but Maeda pitching lights out the last 3 games, 1.69 or 1.63 ERA in July. It looks like he's found that form that he was in last year. So again, all of a sudden, do I want to go against him? Maybe not. Although I did look, and the 3 games he played against were twice against Detroit and once against Kansas City. Although Detroit's starting to put on some hitting boots lately. So again, I always look at that system, and you can look at that system. Teams like on the Friday night, a lot of times they'll be home off of a long road trip on a Friday or Wednesday. So I always look for that situation. And if the number's right, and if the pitching's the right matchup, I will jump on that. Unfortunately for me, I'm not going to get there on any of those 4. I can understand some guys that would want to play those, but for me, it's just not going to be there. But it's something that you can follow. It's a situational play that I've been betting for years in Major League Baseball. And like, again, even in NBA, if a team's off a road trip, 6-game road trip, their first game home, if the line's right, so it's nothing that a lot of guys in our business, they know and follow all the time, but people that are watching are just learning handicap and learning, that might be one of the things that you might want to look and watch and see if it works for you. That's all. Yeah.
If nothing else, it's a great starting point. It makes total sense. It's a foundational piece, and then you dig deeper, and this is the difference between amateurs and pros. You do dig down, and you say, oh boy, I'm not so sure about this one, and that's how we do it. That was a great example, fantastic example. There's just a short card in baseball, so why don't we end with the Olympic golf? And we talked a little bit about it there in the beginning of the show. But do you know offhand, we didn't talk about this before we went on the air, but do you know anything about the course they're playing? And
I actually don't. I haven't really looked into it. I will butcher the name if I try to say it, but I don't really know much about the course. That will be something I'll be looking into probably on Monday, Tuesday when I do all my stuff about golf. I know all the rules. I know what's going to be happening there. I know like for Canadians, we have a couple of golfers there in Hughes and Connors. So I'll be cheering for them. Hopefully they could do something. And like I say, the Americans have 4 good golfers in Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau, Morikawa, and I believe and Xander Schauffele. So, but yeah, just going back, John, about if I know we're going to talk a little bit about the Olympic golf, but again, like I said, it's going to be 60 players only for men, 60 players for women. The men start on Thursday, coming up the 29th. I think the women play after. I think they play on the 4th, I believe. But I just wanted to ask your opinion about baseball, and I know we should have a format instead of going back and forth. But I find it very interesting. Like I was watching last night, Boston played Toronto, and Garrett Richards on the mound, and that whole substance thing has kind of hurt his game. He got the win last night, but gave up 4 runs. But have you noticed that first week when they brought those rules in that they checked Max Scherzer 6 times, I think, in one game there. They were checking guys like crazy. Haven't seen too much checking lately of these guys at all. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you what you think your opinion is that, because it kind of seemed like a bunch of crap to begin with, and now by them not checking these guys, it kind of put them on notice. But it doesn't seem that anybody's checking too much, unless maybe they are. Maybe some of the games I'm missing, or because I flip from game to game to game. I've got 3 TVs going at the same time, but I haven't seen much of it compared to right at the beginning compared to the first couple of weeks since the All-Star break. It seems like it's kind of went away. I don't know what your opinions of that is.
I agree 100%. What's irritating about it is that the owners just act like they have no clue to what's going on. You mentioned foreign substance, and they act like, wait, is that against the rules, or aren't you allowed to do that? It's just bizarre. Yeah. And I give a lot of credit to Tony Finn over there at Wager Talk, who appears every single day on my 4 o'clock Eastern Standard time for Manny's Irish Pub Show, which you've been on.
Yes.
And he's very passionate about it and very informed about it, because he talks to a lot of people in Major League Baseball. And, the fact that Scherzer got checked that many times, there's been one guy suspended, and now all of a sudden we forgot to check. Like, it's bizarre. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre that there's no even just a one-time question. Like, the guy keeps putting his thumb underneath the rim of his hat like this, right?
Right.
That is a sign, from my days of coaching, that somebody might be doing that. But I never, even back in the day, I never thought of calling it on somebody.
No.
And Tony Finn said yesterday, but we talked about this yesterday too, that if they're using substances, then as a batter, I want them to keep using them. And you would think, well, why in the world would that, because that increases spin rates, da-da-da-da-da. It gives them better control. And when the guy's throwing 100 miles an hour, and there's some guys that have registered pitches at 103, and I didn't see where the pitch was. Supposedly it was one at 105. I don't know who it was. But,
wow.
When you're throwing 100, I can tell you just by facing a pitching machine where I didn't have to worry about getting hit, it comes at you and it sings. It actually sings. You can hear the ball. And, the ball starts singing around 95. Mm-hmm. But progressively at 100, it's on you. Like, the normal guy could not get out of the way.
Yeah.
So he made a very good point right then and there that for safety reasons, you don't want a pitcher throwing a brand new baseball that's not, I don't want to say scuffed, but the way they used to do it is a brand new baseball is slippery, and the umpires would take dirt, and they would rub enough dirt on these new balls before the game started, mm-hmm. So that they would have a feel to them. And I don't know, in hindsight, I don't know why this ever started with this foreign substance, because I never even heard like what foreign substance it was. Like, with a couple of guys that became very polarizing, because they were going to outlaw suntan lotion, and you can't do that. I mean,
right.
it was ludicrous to even bring that up. That you're going to tell a guy to go out in 100-degree heat in Texas in that sun, and he can't use sunscreen to protect himself. Are you kidding me? It's just a joke. So that's the part that got kind of annoying. I mean, you see the game at the Major League Baseball level, the ball even comes close to the dirt, it gets thrown out of the game.
Gets thrown out, yeah, exactly.
So to consistently have that much foreign substance on your body somewhere, knowing that you're going to probably, there's a chance that you might throw 10 different baseballs during an inning.
Yeah.
So how in the world can you keep putting substances on the ball without being caught? I don't know what to say. It's
I was just going to say, it's funny. I wonder if the major league or the umpires or whoever's deciding to when to check these guys, I wonder if they're trying to lull them into like a little false sense of security. And then 2 weeks from now, they do the same crap that they were doing and then just start checking everybody again. I'm not sure I'm not sure what their whole game plan is. And like you say, it's a little bizarre coming from old guys like us that have watched a lot of guys doctor balls and back in the day, the knuckleballers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But
that was
maybe
part of the game. That was part of the game. I mean,
and maybe he only has, like you say, he might have a real point. You know what? Yeah, let them do that, because I don't want, like you said, I don't want a 100-mile-an-hour ball coming at my head that this guy doesn't have as much control as he may have had, right? So
exactly. And did it really alter the outcomes of any of the playoff series? Probably not. But I think the number of balls that are starting, people are listening. Watch a game tonight and see how many different balls the pitcher has just in that first inning. A foul ball, new ball. A ball in the dirt, new ball. Nobody on base and the ball gets past the catcher, a new ball.
Yeah.
So, and a pitcher can actually request a new ball.
That's correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's lunacy. My real passion, I'll say it quickly, is back in the steroid era. Anybody who knew anything about sports knew that it was rampant. Everybody was doing it. But you know what? It didn't matter. Nobody was like in a whistleblower frame of mind saying that, well, I'm tired of seeing these 525-foot home runs and Sosa, McGuire going after Babe Ruth and Roger Maris, and nobody complained about that. Nobody said, "Oh, I don't want to see that record broken."
No,
right? So
you're right.
They did what they did, and that was the era. And then the thing that gets me going, Buster, is Bud Selig, as the commissioner during that year and the years after that. Bonds hit, what was it, 73? Or is it
73? Yeah, it was a lot, and it was amazing when you see the pictures of a guy like Bonds and even McGuire back. You see the picture of him in Pittsburgh, and then you see the picture of him in San Francisco. It's like, oh, how does somebody do that, right? I mean, I know people do it all. Yeah, do it all the time.
It's not all working out.
I'll never forget when we were at a game. I think it was even a doubleheader, and we saw McGuire. And he come up to the plate and hit a grand slam, and he was just a monster. I mean, just like a cross. He was just a monster. So, these guys should hit the ball out if they're talented, of course, too. You still have to have that talent, but yeah.
Yeah, you do. But then, in 2000, whatever it was, Bud Selig then throws these guys that helped him rebuild the sport after the 94 strike. Mm-hmm. And he throws them completely under the bus. Yeah. That's the part that I just was like, what in the world is this now? I mean...
Yeah, again...
It's just unbelievable.
They should have tried to nip it in the butt if they were going to. And right. now it puts a black mark on those guys and the game. And it's actually unfortunate when, like you say...
It is.
They knew it was going on all the time, right?
Yep, absolutely. There's no way any of those guys at Major League Baseball in the executive wing, so to speak, could tell me, "Oh, we had no clue." Oh, it's a bunch of crap. I mean, there's no way you didn't know.
They knew.
But I'm going to segue right into the PGA here before I let you go. The hole that you want to watch is number 7. It is dubbed Tom's Thumb after Tom Lehman. Mm-hmm. And the green on this 381-yard par 4 maybe reached with a long and accurate tee shot that carries the lake on the left side and avoids the massive bunkers short and right of the green. I mean, this sounds like a fun hole.
Yeah.
And you can play it as a conservative tee shot into the fairway. That'll leave you about 100 yards into a 2-tiered green. This sounds like a hole you could either birdie, eagle, or take an 8.
Well, there's no doubt on that course at TPC Twin Cities they're going to shoot low. I think the two they've had 2 tournaments there. I think the final winning score was, I think Wolf had -21 and maybe last year was -19 or something like that. So there's going to be some birdies made today and this whole weekend, that's for sure.
And you can play this course. It's a public course. It's a TPC.
Yeah, any TPC courses are. I've actually played a couple of TPCs with my buddies. We'd always go on golf trips from Canada years and years ago, like a lot of years ago. But yeah, I found that out. I was shocked. What do you mean we can go play that course? Oh yeah, any TPC course is public. So I've never played. I've actually never been to Minnesota. It's on my list to go see Target Field there and that. But yeah.
Well, it's 7,500 yards from the black tees. I'm looking at the scorecard. It has a rating of 77.2. 146 slope.
Well, I know all me and my buddies. There's no black tees going on there. I almost don't even want to play the whites sometimes.
Well, interesting you say that too. It goes black, gold, blue, white. So white is the shortest tees. The men's rating is 69.2 and 136 slope is still very very up there.
Yeah,
plays 6,011 yards. So it's more than 1,500 yards shorter than the tips.
Wow.
And the ladies play from the whites, and that's 74.5 rating and 137. So it just shows how good these guys are on the tour when they can birdie 6 of the first 12 holes. And, it's a 7,500-yard layout. I mean, it's just a different game than I ever played. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Well, I guess we'll end on this note, Buster. I really appreciate having your time, and I do want to highlight one more time here this CFL package, guys. If you're tuning in at the end of the show here, this is a special you just cannot refuse to not get on board, and it's saving you $400. You're going to invest in yourself, $299 to have a veteran CFL professional that is ranked number 1 at Wager Talk and number 1 at Sportsmemo in this sport start working for you. So you're hiring him. Look at it that way. You're hiring him for $299 because he's the best there is. And that price should be $2,999. So you're really getting an incredible deal, and I hope you guys trust me on this. I wouldn't be saying if it wasn't true. So get on over to sportsmemo.com and get that package today, and don't wait. You're getting $400 off the regular price, and that's an incredible deal. So, Buster, again, thanks for being on the show. We'll see how next Thursday works for you and your time and schedule. Hopefully it does. So on behalf of Buster, myself, wagertalk.com, sportsmemo.com, and the Predictive Playbook, may all the wins be yours.